My name's Jack Cottrell, and we are here in Holy Trinity, Wordsley. It's a team parish which has 3 worship centres, St Mary and St Francis, who worship in a school in the west of the parish, and St Clare's, who worship in a school in the east of the parish, and Holy Trinity Wordsley here, which is the parish church. We have 30,000 people in the parish, and I would classify it as middle income. It has historically been a rich parish, and that's why we have such a great church, but the glass industry around here has decreased significantly recently. We were not good in paying the parish share, and in 2004 we realised, perhaps we should have known, that our actual debt on parish share was £55,000, and we resolved to do something about it. We thought that we should be paying our parish share and also paying back some of the debt, and we made a commitment to pay back the debt at £5,000 a year over the necessary period, and we committed to that in a letter to the Diocesan Board of Finance. We felt, well, there are many issues, aren't there? One is the whole issue of service to Christ. We need to show that we worship the Lord, and part of worship is actually in our giving. It is part of worship, and we felt that if we weren't actually meeting our debt, we were therefore not meeting our commitment to God. Secondly, on a very practical level, if I'm hungry, I have a sandwich and a bowl of soup. If I'm thirsty, I have a glass of water, or more likely in my case, a pint. You have to be fed, and the Church of Christ has to be fed. And one of the ways of feeding it, the most important way, is with money. And you have to pay the debt. You have to pay the debt of Christ's suffering and death on the cross. And you pay that with money as part of worship. We paid £5,000 off in 2005. And then in 2006, 7 and 8, we managed to pay off another £10,000. So in fact, our debt came down to £40,000. In 2008, we failed to meet our parish share by £5,000. These are approximate figures. And we determined that couldn't go on, that we had actually failed in our commitment, both to the diocese and to Christ. And so we decided that we would have a First to the Lord programme this year. The reason that we failed in 2008 are the normal reasons. We failed because the giving stayed the same, but inflation goes up. Committed givers die, or committed people move away. And we did nothing to address it. And that was the issue. We had done nothing to address it. We had not renewed our commitment annually since 2004. And so we resolved in 2009 to make good that commitment. We approached the Diocesan Resources Officer, and he came along and gave us some advice, the First to the Lord campaign, and we had that on 3 successive Sundays in Lent, which seemed an appropriate time to have it. And the signs are very good. We have not completed our analysis of the figures. And given what I've previously said, that sounds a bit political, no, financial. There's too much financial emphasis there. We've not completed our analysis of the giving, but by taking the first 2 months and the number of people who have taken up envelopes and the number of existing givers who have increased their giving, we have increased our giving by probably 20% a month. And we anticipate that if that completes over the whole year, we will complete our parish share and pay back at least £5,000 of the debt.
I'm the Reverend Derek Arnold. I am soon to be Team Rector of Kidderminster West Team Ministry.
I'm Brian Smith, the Treasurer of the PCC.
So the parish comprises of St John's, Holy Innocents, St Peter's and St John's Haberley. Quite an affluent area really around the Church of St John's where we are today, but we have got a huge or a large pocket of urban deprived areas where St Peter's is located. This causes obviously a problem with achieving enough money to pay our parish share.
I think there's been some reluctance to actually pay a parish share and reluctance to take the commitment seriously to pay the parish share. That obviously hasn't been the money available, but hasn't been too much effort to actually achieve the money, to actually make it pay. But I think we are now seeing the importance of it and are making big strides and have made a commitment to actually pay this year in full and start to pay some of the back payments off.
Possibly because I'm quite new here. Yeah, I've only been here 2.5 years, and in a month's time I'll be the Team Rector. Middle of last year when I became Acting Rector, we really had a good look at our finances, and it's always been a part of my life, the biblical principle of giving, and I don't think the people here have had much teaching on that, and that's why I felt that we needed to put a bit more effort in terms of that, and we have done that over the last 6 months. Talked about it a lot, thought about it, and it was towards the end of last year that the diocese came to us and said, look, you have a large shortfall of parish share. We'd like to help you go forward in a really positive way, but also looking at trying to pay some of it back. We entered into a contract with them, and Brian is basically the person that entered into the contract with the diocese.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, obviously, incentives to encourage us that as long as we pay this year in full and start and pay back what we owe, then the diocese will pay pound for pound of the arrears. So we in effect half the amount of arrears that we have. So hopefully we will ultimately have a clean slate and be able to start again.
I think what we've looked at in this parish is we've looked at trying to be a bit smarter about what we're doing, perhaps buying things in bulk and looking at where we get our electricity, where we buy our paper and all those sorts of things, where you can just accumulate a little bit more money that way. We've also really looked hard at things like gift aid and whether we're doing as much as we can for that. And my idea is that it's not necessarily the parishioners or the congregations need to pay this. And I say to them always, we need to raise £30 or £40 each. We don't necessarily have to pay that out of our own money. It's about each person recognizing their commitment and their responsibility. There's a responsibility as well. Their responsibility to raise that much amount of money for this church or for these set of churches, this group of churches, this team of churches. Yeah. And, well, we're doing a First of the Lord, which is part of the contract. We were asked to appoint a PCC treasurer, which is Brian. We were asked to do budgets for each church. We had to pay this year in full, and also that we had to have a First of the Lord. And Mel Smith has been in, and we will be starting that process at Pentecost in a joint service, which Mel will be preaching at. And I think, for me, it's been a really positive, because I was a little bit skeptical about the whole thing, working with the diocese. I thought they were just there to kind of grab our money. But actually, it's been a really positive thing, really positive thing that I think we can take forward I'm not sure what will come out of the First of the Lord, but I'm hoping it'll be something really good.